I met a guy that was 6 foot, but he didn't make six figures. And as
Right.
far as like sex goes, sorry to go off topic,
Mm-hmm.
not every female wants a male with a big penis. So,
Is 6 inches considered big? I'm sorry.
Hey, you know what really sucks? Depression.
Peace. Pre-select thoughts. Back here with another video. Yo, bang that subscribe button. As we grow, as we build the plane, you could say you was here from day one, throughout all the dustiness, throughout all the ashiness, as we're upgrading the technology, as we're gaining experience on the mic. You can say you was here from day one. Yo, shout out to y'all. Let's get it.
How important is it to find somebody that is just as successful as you when it comes to dating a relationship? I guess we can start here. What's your thoughts on it?
Okay, so I think we have to think about how we're defining success. That was the first thing that came to
No,
me.
let's please let's not get philosophical. Oh, we know the standard definition of success from what men want and from what women want. We know it's emotional intelligence. We know it's physical health, mental health, physical health, and financial health. God-fearing, knowing that there's a hierarchy. We know this. Let's not make this a whole 10-minute conversation on what success is.
My mind, are we defining success as, education? Is it monetary? Is it their emotional intelligence, which I think is very important? So it depends
So
on.
again, we are going into what success is. We understand that it's the combination of all of that. Mental, as far as emotional intelligence and IQ. We know it's physical health. We know it's finances. We don't have to get into what success is, do we?
on how we're defining success.
Okay. I'm glad that you broke that down, because now I'm trying to be specific as far as success, what it looks like. What does success look like to you as far as a significant other?
I think emotional intelligence is incredibly
And she's
important.
gonna say emotional intelligence, IQ, and this is what I'm saying. This is why we don't really have to get into success. I mean, this is just word salad at this point.
Communication, just even understanding and knowing yourself. That's so helpful in a relationship. So I think those elements are more important than the other elements that I mentioned. As far as career or money, I think if you have that ability to be introspective and communicate your feelings and your emotions, that's successful.
No. Again, most women want it all. They want the combination of that. They will not accept a man who has high emotional intelligence, who is in tune with himself, and can be in tune with you, and is to some degree intelligent, to your standard, but he is broke as French toast. No. I highly doubt that the majority of American women will accept that man. An average rank and file man, because she didn't say anything about physicality. So an average rank and file man who is high in emotional intelligence and tuned with himself, all the stuff that she said, but that average man is broke as French toast. This is why we have to not. This is why I didn't want to do this. I didn't know it was going to go into the definition of success. I knew at this point it was going to be word salad. There's going to be a lot of cap, because we've seen it. We've seen that women, black women and otherwise, want they want the full package. So to say that that's success, no, because y'all ain't choosing those men.
Okay, I like that answer.
And I think,
I agree.
yeah, I agree with entirely, because I think the direction most people go is financially,
Right,
how
yeah,
successful you
right.
are, where you are in terms of your education level, which I think those things are important. But the more relationships that you have, you realize that those relationships that really survive and where you can really connect, you really have to have that emotional intelligence.
Absolutely.
You really have to know how to communicate, because you can be with someone who's equally yoked with you, in terms of education, in terms of finances. But if you're not on the same page, it's not going to be successful.
Absolutely.
Right.
But again, now the conversation is either or. but the reality is you guys want both, because you're not gonna, if you have that man but he is not financially up to your level, you're not gonna pay all the bills. So this is what I'm saying. This sounds good, but in reality, we as men understand that we have to be the full package, because you're not accepting either or. But it sounds very good.
And if they don't have the emotional intelligence to recognize how they're coming off to you, and they're not sensitive to your feelings and what you need and vice versa, then you're not going to have a successful relationship. So I think those pieces are important. But I do think there's another conversation around education, finance, and what it means, you know, for women like ourselves who are quote unquote successful by society, and what it is that we are looking for in our partners.
Right.
But again, you have that man, you have that man that he has taken care of himself mentally, and he can take care of you. Now he can stimulate you mentally, but he is an average earner and an average on a physicality scale, meaning the standard Western American diet. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt you're gonna accept that, man. But again, men understand, and I appreciate the brothers being very liberal in the conversation. But men understand that we have to be the full package, because just having emotional intelligence and being in tune with ourselves and can be in tune with you and in tune with our divine femininity and divine masculinity, that ain't gonna cut it if we make less than you. If you have to foot the bill, and our physical is average as well to the standard American diet, I highly doubt it.
That's a great answer. Anybody else want to go?
Well, actually, our lovely doctors answered that.
Yeah. Right.
And just to think we almost didn't have you, that was a great
I know.
I would like to say though, my clients who come to me, they're like, look, I make X amount and he need to make at least this amount. Shay.
Right.
And that's the reality. Most women do not want to foot the bill. They do not want to pay the overwhelming majority of the bills, if not all the bills, like a man will. Men understand that. Not only do we understand, but we thrive in the fact that we can pay all the bills and have the ability to pay all the bills. Ladies, on the other hand, we have to be honest. You don't have that same drive. You don't have that same feeling when you pay all the bills for the man. So shout out to the sister here.
Like, don't even bring him to me if he minimum wage. It ain't gonna work. Typically, they want somebody to be at least 6 figures. That's what I hear often. And it's important to them because they say that they live a certain lifestyle. And so if I lived a certain lifestyle where I'm traveling 6-7 times a year, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to Italy next month, and you're like, oh, I gotta save up, I gotta move some money around. Y'all don't have an equal lifestyle. It's more for them. It's about lifestyle compatibility. That's what I hear.
So
And it's crazy because we know that most black women just ain't out here with the money to have this lavish lifestyle. But if we're talking about the percentage of black women who earn an excess of $75,000 or more and have this lifestyle, they very much so do not want an average man from an earning potential and everything else. They want it all combined into one. Black women in particular. Now, black women, am I lying? What are you willing to concede on? I mean, he got the money, he got the physical health, he has the emotional intelligence and the IQ, a religious man who understands that there's a higher power. And if you had to pick and choose 3 out of the 6, what you picking? You know, if you can't have it all. But again, black women and women in general want it all.
Would y'all be willing to sacrifice like certain aspects in order to get like the important stuff, like the emotional maturity?
And I think,
I-
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just said this, and this is a fresh reaction. See, because men understand, black men, as ununified as we are, as savage as our culture is, or portrayed, we have a basis understanding of one another and of our society and of the world. So even in conversations like this, intelligent, competent black men are in tune.
I feel like a lot of times we naturally do. Like sometimes we forget every man is not successful, every man is not rich, and they're being dated right now. They're being slept with right now.
Right.
So it's possible for us to settle or compromise with a man because every man.
Well, no, it's not settling. It's black women are average as well. Most people are average. So again, those black men who are average earning, and they're being dealt with right now. They're being dealt with by average women who are average earners. But if we're talking about the doctors, the lawyers, right? The women that are on the podcast who are making an excess of $75,000 or $100,000 or more, it's a different standard. But those men who are in that tax bracket move differently, and they move strategically, and they don't move based off of how much money a woman has.
And isn't successful.
Right.
So I feel like, and you have to be mindful, right? Not every female is for the 666 bill. I don't know where that came from. Like, I feel like that's something that's new that came out the blue. I didn't used to hear that years ago. So that is something new. Because I met a guy that was 6 foot, but he didn't make 6 figures. And as far as like sex goes, sorry to go off topic, not every female wants a male with a big penis. So
Is 6 inches considered big? I'm sorry.
with me,
To my brothers out there that understands that the average size of a Johnson is 5 inches. So if you're between the 6 and 7 inch marker, you're above average. No, black women still see it as average. I'm sorry. It is what it is. So and here's the thing. When we talk about the sex appeal of a man, men, we have to understand that they want the top 2% in that as well. So you can't make it up. Is 6 inches big? I mean, scoffing at it as if it's not, because in reality they want 8 and up. But to go above 7, that's what, 3% of men, 2% of men. When we talk about they want it all, you gotta understand they want it all. So yeah, there's emotional intelligence, and yeah, all of this stuff, it's cute. Oh my god, but 6 inches is small. It is what it is.
me personally, I date men and women. So a big penis wouldn't mean nothing to me because when I'm with a female, we don't use toys. They have clitoris, and their clitoris is small. So a big penis wouldn't mean anything.
Look at that.
Because
Listen
as long as
to
you can
that.
make me have my orgasm, then we're succeeding in that part.
You're like, oh, how cute. Oh, but about me, shit, that ain't gonna work for me. I need that thing. And it is what it is. And shout out to my sister, saying not all, women want that. But again, we're in a Western society where this is acceptable, and where this is acceptable and highlighted. So yeah, everybody wants bigger, better, taller, stronger. But the thing is, black women, you have to make a choice. What's more important? A man, a character who has high intelligence and high emotional intelligence, who may have some boxes checked off on the physicality aspect. He may be dusty, he may be 5'9", but he's in the top 14% in Johnson size. I didn't say top 2%, I said top 14%. Can you make, because to have it all is not enough of those men to go around, and y'all don't want to lap up.
But a lot of times people think you need a big penis.
No.
You don't. So that 6'6" thing, and I'm not saying 6 inches is big by the way.
Okay, because I was like,
I don't.
You see what I'm saying?
I don't know where that came. I guess that's average. Why they say
It's
6,
average, yeah.
but me personally, every female don't want that. It's plenty of females that don't want a big D, and it's plenty of guys that are. Every guy not tall.
Wait a minute. I never heard of 666.
Oh really?
I thought that was like some demonic. Back at like.
it is a thing.
It's ironic, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
It is a
I've never
thing.
heard of it
Because
either.
every woman tells me they want a man who's 6 feet tall.
Okay, that's.
And the thing is, the average.
Hold on.
I'm sorry. Every woman tells me they want a man who's 6 feet tall. The average man is 5'9",
Right.
and only a person who's 6 feet tall is 13% of the population. So I'm like, okay, they're 13%
That's
of
all
the
races.
whole
That's all
population
races
with all
included,
races. And
yeah.
if you narrow it down to black men, and then you want him to make 6 figures, now we're narrowing down even more. So
And then when you say 6 inches is average, though, because again, this is the 666 rule, and I hope you get into this. But again, the Johnson size, you say 6 inches is average. The internet says different. The internet says it's about 5.5. So, and for black men about 5.75. So when you talk about 6, that's an above average man. 6 to 7 is above average. Above anything over 7 is a top 2% man in that category. So the 666 rule was created because it's another metric that's above average. But no, black women think 6 inches is average like a mother sucker.
So it's like, it's an unrealistic expectation. So we should expect, on average, he gonna be 5'9", 5'10", on average.
Well, I do think.
And again, yes, she didn't get into the Johnson size, 666. We understand these notions, but again, the Johnson size as well. Most men are under 6 inches, and black women, you have to be okay with that. Ladies in general, you have to be okay with knowing that your man is not gonna be out here just glazing, just destroying them guts, just beating them things loose. This is not how it's gonna happen.
The expectations are extremely unrealistic. I mean, just to be honest, not everybody is going to start off where they're successful. I said I'm a medical doctor. That means I had a long journey. Okay, so if I'm meeting someone who's also college educated or went to graduate in professional school, they're not going to start off where women are coming in. There are a lot of men that they will miss out on. And we don't have to say one who was a former president who started off in a different.
Did he go to like a junior college or something?
No. We're not talking about him.
Oh,
We're
okay.
talking about, President Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Right. But he went to an Ivy League school.
Right.
But the point is, the expectations are very unrealistic, and it should be more than he has to make 6 figures. Because let's be very honest, 6 figures, which is 100,000, is very different in New York City than it is in Boise, Idaho.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you have to look at where you
different.
live, and you have to look at someone's potential. So I know people say you don't date potential, but for me, I want somebody who's college educated, but he has to be ambitious. Not ambitious that he has to own the company, but he has to want something more. He has goals, he has aspirations, because not everybody starts there, where they're successful. So if you're looking for that, you are missing out on the opportunity for you to grow together.
Right.
And that's when you really build something. So the expectations are extremely.
Maybe I'm tripping. Black woman, put it in the comments, because maybe I missed something. But the notion of being with a man that has potential versus being with a man that's already there, that already conquered, maybe I'm wrong. But it's been my experience that you will not accept a man that is on his process, that's on his way there, that is not pre-select, that does not look good, smell good, that does not take care of himself physically, that does not go by the standard American diet. You will not accept a man who is on his path, but he is not aesthetically pleasing. You will only accept that man once he is a high earner, once he is successful, then you would accept that type of man. But by that time, those men are like, yo, I done conquered. Shit, I don't gotta be tall and good looking. I stand on my money. But back then, you ain't want me. Oh, that's a goddamn bar. But it's real.
Unrealistic.
Yeah,
Because what puts you at a position where you can demand something like that? So when a woman says he has to make this salary, women are usually the head of household. They make more than their partners usually. If we looked at it like that, Oprah would never be dating Steph.
correct.
Okay.
When you said that women are usually the head of household, you mean like single mothers?
Well, I mean, you look at, women are the head of household in most households. They are the breadwinners. That's what I mean.
Is that because they're? Are we talking about? You talking about with a couple
I'm
relationship?
talking about financial. Women may make more than their partners, and that's okay. And if you are
Wait. In the black community, the black woman is making more than a black man in a married household. Where'd you get that stat from, man? I'm very curious. I mean, I'm just very curious.
have this expectation that
I'm not
part-
completely sure
I
about
think
that one.
I think so. Okay, so I think statistically, when you look at it, you're gonna say men make more than women. But remember, I told you there's a whole world out there that's not true.
But I've been on CDC. I understand. I broke blackdemographics.com. I broke down the numbers in general, and the numbers just don't.
Shout out to my brothers for already doing the numbers, so a youngin' like me can just come out here and be like, yeah, I'm in the mix. You know what I'm saying? I'm not pre-select dude that I can't flee from these women if I wanted to. But the work is already done, and I'm just giving my perspective on how we can build our community, because it's not just about the looks, it's not just about the woman being attractive in the conversation. No, it's about building our community.
Yeah, otherwise, you know what I mean? I understand there are women who are in
doesn't
relationships
happen.
that are, but on
Balance
average,
is
and
majority.
the majority, I've looked at the numbers. I can't say that for a fact.
Okay.
Unless you can prove me otherwise, I'm willing to learn and stuff like that.
But I think definitely in your situation, that's going to be the case.
Yeah, again, in those women's situations, the women who are high earners, in those situations, that may be the case, because again, the black men and otherwise who are in those categories, who are in that financial category, they've conquered the world, and now the notion of marriage is optional. But that's a different conversation on whether do they get married or don't. It's a different conversation.
for black women.
Yeah, for black women. And
For
for
black women.
successful black women,
For
that's
black
going to be the
women.
case, yeah.
Yes. But I do think the expectations are very unrealistic, and that's where people get caught in this trap. So to say that this person had to make as much as you, I think you have to look at other parameters. Do you guys have the same values? What are the foundations? And that's what you build upon.
Sound
But to
good.
say, well, he got to make as much as me or more. You could be missing out on something that could be quite beautiful, because he could change the relationship in so many other ways.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said you spoke earlier about what do you define the success as, because just because a man is 6 feet doesn't mean he's a good man too. He's going to, just because he makes $100K or
Right.
more doesn't
Right.
mean he's going to treat you with respect or
Right.
be a good man. So
Right.
I think we do have to sit down and understand what it is that a successful, somebody successful looks like to me.
No, because they want it all. They want all of that plus the good guy that's a bad boy. They want it all, and you gotta pick. You can't have it all. That's what true success is. True success is a black woman picking out of the categories: physical, emotional, intelligence, IQ, earning capacity. And when we talk about physical, we're including things like the Fibonacci sequence, Johnson size, maybe height, just physical, just the physicalities in general. You have to pick, ladies, and the rest, and you pick one out of those four, and the rest will be average. Because the numbers, Again, shout out to my brother. The numbers are out, and there's not a lot of those men. Either that or you lapping up. Which one is it? Because throughout history, whether it's through religion or through, sheer numbers, women outnumbering men in each race, or throughout religion, these kind and caliber of men have had multiple women. So ladies, you have to pick. You have a decision to make.
In my relationship, like, you do have to make sacrifice. I understand, like, some successful women say, oh, well, I live a certain lifestyle. But, if you plan to be in a committed relationship or marriage, that lifestyle might have to change. You have a family now. You have to prioritize other things than you going on vacation every other week. Like, you know what I mean? So things like that are naturally going to, not saying that has to just stop automatically, like, vacations, whatever.
Nah, they want to bring the children. They want to keep the lifestyle, but just bring the children aboard. And then have a nanny to where they can dip off on the side whenever it's convenient for them. So they need a nanny on call. This is what they want. This is why black men need to understand that we need to sharpen our community to let our women understand that it's not about what they want. It's about what they need and what's best for the community. Because right now they're doing what they want, and right now, we see what we're getting.
Cases. But you might not be able to get that bag, that Chanel bag that you wanted, that you used to get, or your husband used to get you, because you have children now. Like, you got to worry about other things. Like, so I think people have to understand, sacrifices in relationships, and not everybody's gonna be able to just have this luxury lifestyle all the time. Like,
well, it shifts the dynamic of the relationship too. Like, so if you date a woman who makes 2-3 times your salary. Now it's a question of, do we live where you can afford? Do we live where she can afford? Do we live somewhere in the middle? Like, all of those things. Are you paying all the bills? Are you expecting her to? It's like a whole lot of things that comes into play that shifts the dynamics. And so a lot of times I hear women saying, I still want to be treated like a woman. I still want to be taken out on dates. I still want to be, treated to trips and all this kind of stuff, but if I'm dating him and he doesn't make the money I make, he can't do these things. So I think that's a perspective I hear.
Right. Just to kind of segue, just to go with what you're talking about, I have seen recently more and more female professional matchmakers, not the home ones, but I see a lot more of them expressing their frustrations with matching people or just blatantly quitting because they feel like some people have unrealistic expectations. It's just unrealistic. In your experience, who do you think is more difficult to, match successfully, men or women?
And sisters, don't beat me up because I love y'all.
It's women because they want it all. They not willing to say, okay, he's an average earner. He may be above average, 60, 70K. He's above average or average earner. But he is average as French toast when it comes to his physicalities. 5'8", 5 inches. He ain't that attractive. Just the average rank and file man. But he's a good character. He's of good character. He's of good family. And he makes 60 to 70. He makes a slightly above average. But he don't hit that spot right. And yes, that spot has been hit. That spot has been hit in the past, and you know how it feels. So now you can't go back. It is what it is. This is why this whole thing of women gaining experience in the world, dealing in the world. And then you come back to her husband. Then you come back to try to find a husband, and you can't because you done been out in the world experiencing. But now, the average rank and file man that wants to marry you is like, no, you're not interested because of your experiences.
Well, women do have more unrealistic expectations. And honestly, I think it's because when you're successful, you get to do everything you want. You get to choose the house you want. You get to choose the car you want. You get to choose.
But it's not success because, again, what you're talking about is only 8% of black women who make that type of money to where they're living that lifestyle. No, in general, from the average rank and file black woman to the high earning black woman, it's all the same notion.
Customize your life. And here's one area that I feel like they try to customize and it's difficult. But I am not one of those women that will say, I'm not a matchmaker that will say I'm walking away because women have unrealistic expectations, because
Right.
I'm also a dating coach. So it's my job to coach you and say, hey, here's what's out there, and let's massage that, and let's work on your expectation, and let's make it realistic. So I'm not bowing out.
So what are the things? So I want to ask you from, what do most men require when they're looking for potential mates, and what do women normally require?
Well, men can be unrealistic too, especially so when you get older, when you get like 45-ish, those men, 45, 50, those men are very successful, and then they tend to think they can pull a 25-year-old, and it's like, sir, you're a daddy to her. You're
Black men who fit that narrative. I know the demographics on the men and women who watch my channel. Those black men who are in that category, those black men who are in that category, put in the comments, is this true? Because again, I understand, and we as men understand, that if she's saying that these men, our older brothers, expect just because they're high earners that they can get a 20-something year old, in our minds, in my mind, I understand that they can. Rest in peace to the Godfather. If you are pre-select and you're an older gentleman who has the money and has the lifestyle, you can have whatever you want. And this is what I'm saying. These men, this is what I'm saying, black men, when you reach a certain financial status, you have to, even when you're on the process, you have to take care of yourself. You have to ensure that you're healthy. Ensure that your skin is clean, and ensure that your skin is taken care of, that your teeth is taken care of. Make sure that you're taken care of from a physical standpoint. Make sure that you look good and smell good. It's 2023. Find ways to get it done. Technology, all type of stuff out here. We get it done. It's not just okay to be 45, 55, or even 30s and 20s and just have money, but you sloppy as French toast. No, you can't attract the kind of caliber woman that you say you are. So I will agree with her on that. But if you have taken care of yourself physically, got the salt and pepper thing going on, you in your 40s, 50s, and you've taken care of yourself and you have the financial gains, you can absolutely have those kind of caliber, those type of women. And that's facts. Black men, gentlemen, put in the comments if this is facts.
I mean,
Sometimes you can.
They can, but okay, but you got to pay to play. You can,
that's
but you got to pay to play.
Men have to pay to play regardless. I mean, what are we talking about? That's a silly notion, because no woman is gonna accept a man who ain't paying. No woman is, again, unless he's on his process, unless he's ambitious. But again, that comes with contingencies. He has to be pre-select. Other women would have to look at him like, come on now, we understand this.
And so they be thinking that she in love with them. Like, no, she's not in love with you. You're her father. You're a sugar dad.
Well, no, stop that. Again, all women from all ages want a man that can pay. So let's not do that. We're not going to shame those men. And we're not going to do that. No, the reality is all women want a man that's going to pay.
Sugar daddy. So I have to set the expectation, no, she doesn't love you. She loves what you can do for her.
Right.
Let's be clear. If you get somebody,
And again, all women love what you can. Come on, guys. And she's very adamant on this, and it's just not true. That goes for all women, not just young women to old men. You have better chances of women being genuinely attracted to you and genuinely loving you when you take care of your physical. But the financial, no woman is gonna accept a man that ain't paying. That's not paying the cost to be the boss, paying the overall, if not all, of the financial responsibilities. Let's be level here.
at par with you, your age, she might love you. This girl won't what you can do for her. So it's an expectation thing too that they have. But I think men can be more physical. So they'll get to, she need to have this kind of booty, these kind of boobs, and it's like so physical. Whereas women can be materialistic. Like, you need to make this amount of money. And sometimes people have this image of, I want to post my Instagram pictures, so I need them to look like this. It's so crazy. So sometimes that can get a little unrealistic.
Got you. Have you ever found the perfect match for them, but maybe he ain't hit that 6 foot threshold?
Oh, so yeah, that happens all the time.
And it's not the perfect match.
So you'll come in with, like, out the gate. You're paying me thousands of dollars, so you're going to come out the gate like, boom, I want this, and this. And then I'll introduce you to somebody who's great, and he's amazing, and he loves you, and he treats you right, but he's 5'9". And you like, you know what? He hit everything else. I'm going to roll with that. So that happens all the time.
Yeah, it does. It does happen, obviously, with men as well. You probably have the perfect woman, and maybe the ass ain't fat enough or whatever the case is. Like,
and they do. They will marry her, and her booty ain't that big. But you know what, Shay? I love this girl. So that happens.
Man, part 1. Hope you guys enjoyed. We got part 2 in the works, but until then, check out this video, and I'll see you on a fresh one. Peace.